How do they get off of the screen? It first starts in the home. The parents are going to have to be involved to get the kids off the screen. They have to set limits. They have to start at a young age. There has to be some other thing than just the computer for them to turn to, right? Can they talk with their family? Are they doing things like, in my understanding, is do they have a religious belief? Do they have a cultural belief? Do they have good relationships with their family? And are the parents guiding them? Are they putting a structure to their cell phones or devices, meaning an app that limits their usage, an app that monitors what they do to prevent them, or in America, once they're 18, they do whatever they want. And a lot of these kids are doing things that adults would do on the phone as early as, I would say even earlier, but maybe 12, 13 years old. They're looking at things that we would not even be privy to until we were much older, at least back in the older times, right? And we wonder why they have so many problems with controlling themselves, why they have sleep problems, why they have anxiety, why they have depression, why are they obese, just sitting for 2 to 4 hours a day on a device, as opposed to when we were younger, we'd be outside for 2 to 4 hours. And then they eat processed foods when they do eat, because they're eating something that's quick to unwrap and eat, or even things that they just buy from the store that are candies, cakes, and chips, and they're eating plain. Totally unhealthy. It leads to an unhealthy lifestyle. It leads to an unhealthy diet, and they're not even moving. And then they go, well, I don't feel good. And then we give them an antidepressant. The solution could be partially that, but the real problem is their activity, their lifestyle, and it all kind of ties into this whole device usage. You mentioned these blue glasses I wear. I noticed if I'm on the screen for 2 hours that I couldn't focus as well. My vision was getting worse when I was driving. But when I started wearing these more, my vision wasn't as bad. There are certain type of lights that come out into the screen. They kind of disrupt our vision. They cause eye strain. They have retinal effects. It has circadian rhythm effects. The blue light influences the production of melatonin. And these are the hormones that regulate the sleep and wake cycle. So if we're disrupting that and we're always exposed to it, we're going to have problems sleeping. So I'm trying to limit the exposure to the blue lights. The blue lights scatter more than other visible lights, and they cause more strain on the eye. High levels of the blue light lead to oxidative stress to the eye. That means damages to the eye and the retina. And one thing that this theory of wearing these is that you can potentially reduce macular degeneration. Potentially, the theory is that you can eliminate that. You know what people get from the eye doctor from when they have macular degeneration? They get injections in their eye. They have a chance of going blind. And so hopefully by me wearing these, I will prevent that. It's not for a vision improvement, it's for vision stabilization. And so they have studies on these. Of course, these are preliminary studies, small sample size studies, but the wavelength that it's blocking, there's a wavelength of light, the Roy G. Biv. In those wavelengths are visible lights, and then, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. In the visible light spectrum, it runs in nanometers. Blue wavelength light runs in 400 to 500. These block that wavelength. So there's other lights that I can see, but it's blocking a high percentage of those lights. So here are some benefits, health benefits. There have been studies that show that you have improved sleep when you use this 2 to 3 hours, especially before bedtime when a lot of people are on their cell phones. So you say you don't have a device, but you have a cell phone. You don't have a computer, but you have a cell phone. And then there's retinal changes and sleep changes and benefits, retinal benefits, okay? It's not a cure-all, but it's something to potentially help your vision in the long run. And so you can get them embedded from the eye doctors into your lens prescriptions. Well, they have AI now doing surgeries on eyes to give better and better vision, especially for nearsighted. Because before it's doing the laser, changing the cornea and things like that with the lasers. As I understand, there's benefit to doing it now. They have better and better machines now, and AI helping us get the right laser effects of the procedure. On your bone density, it checks how thick your bones are. You are in a phase or a stage of osteopenia. Osteopenia is not normal bones or very strong, young, healthy bones, but it's not osteoporosis, where there is a significant increase of fractures. And so you're kind of in this middle ground. Yeah. So this middle ground, it can progress and it can get better. So we want to get you better, but I think you also want other benefits that are possible if we can shift you more towards the better side. One of those things that you can do is be on your bone pill, right? So men aren't typically getting osteopenia. That's where you're at, but you have this, and it could have been from a number of factors over the years, but you being your age is, okay, we have it, let's prevent it from getting worse. So you're on a bone pill, and then you're on also vitamin D, right? And so what can you do above and beyond that? What is the cherry on top? If you're not doing just the basic stuff, why would you add a cherry on top? You're just gonna eat a cherry. Not gonna be really satisfying. So to make your bones stronger, your bone pill, your vitamin D, weight-bearing exercises. You know, a weightlifter can lift 200, 300, 400 pounds, but it took them time to get up there, and their bones don't fracture. If you stuck me or I stuck you on lifting these heavy weights, you'd crack right immediately at 300 pounds. Their bones would fracture, but they built up their bones over time through pressure, through weight bearing. So I need you to do weight bearing exercises. You know, the easier ones to do is get 5-10 pounds in your hand and do military presses with it, 5-10 pounds, do curls with it, do squats with it. There is another thing you can do. Instead of just taking vitamin D, there is something with a potentially emerging evidence with a vitamin called vitamin K2. It comes in 2 different forms, but generally over the counter it comes in a form called MK7, which is longer acting. Not to get into the details of that, but K2 comes with vitamin D now. If you take somewhere between 1 to 300, 1 to 400 micrograms of K2, it potentially is helpful to pull the calcium from the arteries and put it into the bone. The problem is we don't have the full research showing that, but the mechanisms are there. It activates these enzymes in the blood, in the periphery, to pull it out and push it into the bone. So if you want to look for it, there's a vitamin called vitamin D with K2. If you have somewhere around a 200 of K2 mixed with 5,000 of vitamin D, that'd probably be ideal for you.